need to shut the gates now. And that's the singular focus of this movement, is that we need to shut the gates and get our own house in order. We've got a bunch of people that are overflowing out of the basket or the bowl here into these fringe groups. And that's creating a really dangerous society. It's creating dangerous ideologies, and it's weaponizing young people to further push a fake GDP number that this government loves to prop up by bringing people in here. That's why this is the most important issue in Australia right now.
Yeah, I think we understand.
It's not about identity or race.
No,
it's about numbers.
And the migration.
Lying about the economy, telling us that inflation has a 2 in front of it, when we all know at the coalface of the building industry, it's probably got an 8 or a 9 in front of it.
Yep.
It's ridiculous, and it's all false. So we've got to cut through that and start exposing the lies.
Politicians are people that have put their hand up to run this country, and they're doing an absolute shocking job of it.
Yep.
Like I said, as Scott said, migration is the Band-Aid, because we've got too many completely unimpressive, unintelligent dorks who can't run a government, who don't want to give up the job. So
professional bureaucrats, professional apparatchiks.
That's it.
Party leaders that came through the youth movements. They've never worked outside in real business. They have no real world experience, and they're completely disconnected from the reality.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, if young Australians who can't put things in context, maybe as well as some others, are falling through the cracks and finding community on the internet, I think it's sad, but they are still young Australians, you know. But I think the anger's really primarily got to be directed at the people who put their hand up for the job and are doing a shocking job at it, and that's the government.
Victorian protest played out exactly the way, and the media narrative around that, the control of that played out perfectly for the Victorian government. They painted everyone to be Nazis. They got all the headlines and the clicks and the rage bait they were after. Let's face it, they could have kept these two movements away from each other. They didn't. They didn't. The useful idiots were used to control the narrative down there. Now, Victoria is the absolute worst case in Australia. We know that, and it's going to be ugly before it gets better down there. It will not be rectified by 2 or 3 of these rallies and events. We know that. This is an entrenched bureaucratic blob that is taking control of that state, and it is doing its absolute best to demonise anyone who speaks up against it. It is filth.
You're saying that this might not be even a real neo-Nazi we're looking at here.
Well, we could put the tinfoil hat on and we can go down all the conspiracy holes, and gosh knows, Joel done it. We've all gone there since 2020, right? I mean, we all get it. We can do that. But it's just, in my mind, way too convenient now. And having worked with the organisation of this march, with guys like Rob and a really strong leadership team and the QPS, we know that things can be managed effectively. The Queensland Premier was in support of what we did up here, and we didn't have any dramas and problems. So Victoria created its own mess intentionally. Now, whether Thomas Sewell turned up unexpectedly and it was a random coincidence event, well, you know, that might be the case. But I think most Australians now, especially the Australians who came to the march and will probably come to the next 2 or 3 that are run, are looking through that now and not believing a single word that's coming out of these governments' mouths, mate. That's the problem. A complete loss of trust. The social contract has been torn in half, and now these criminals at the top of the chain are basically just playing everyone like puppets.
The point I was saying is I stayed at the stage to cue the music as they came in and make a big epic entrance, you know, and it was
really powerful.
We had no idea. I was thinking
it was Great Southern Land.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Ida Davies Ice House booming as they walked into the
So Scott hired the system, and I said, "Oh, this system's going to be huge. There's plenty of firepower there, mate. You're going to be laughing," because I'm thinking we'll have 200 or 300 people, maybe 500 people. And then the guys came around the corner with police escorts on either side, you know, arm in arm like this as brothers. And I cued Great Southern Land, and it's Great Southern Land. But then they just kept coming.
Yeah, wow.
There was this sea of people. There was a sea of Aussie flags. I had no idea there was going to be that many people. And it was one of the most powerful images I think I've ever seen in my life. These guys marching in front of what people are saying is tens of thousands of people, a sea of people as far as you could see. What I want to make quickly is because I stayed at the stage, a few people walked past me and said, "Oh, is this the March for Australia?" And immigrant people, you know, a guy said, "Oh, look, mate, yeah, so you guys want to bring mass immigration down?" And I said, "Yeah, it's just too high, mate." And he goes, "Obviously, I'm an immigrant," because he was Asian. And he said, "I completely agree with you. Absolutely. It's way too much. You're just changing the country."